Welcome back. My name's Thomas. I'm here with everybody say their names.
Names.
And David, always a tough. Allison, David, and Diamond are joining me on our D&D 5th edition adventure, A Bard's Tale. And in this continuation of this episode, it is a party in the Feywild. You guys are posted up at Struana's new bar, new tavern theater. I mean, really, it's not an exaggeration to say it's exactly what she thinks it is. Getting served the perfect drinks. They taste exactly the way you would imagine that you want them to taste. And Stan happens to be there with, I don't know about the perfect woman, but springtime version of the Eladrin Trella Goodmane is fine. She clearly put a little extra effort in because she knew she would be spending some of the time with you, and indeed, as a slightly paranoid ClickClack tried to draw you into conversation, she cut in and informed ClickClack and maybe even Stan that you were on a date.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Am I? We are.
Yeah, tower. That's important. Talking.
Struana, you have like your bartender is like constantly fielding clearly musician and thespian types. Like troops of people are coming up to him and talking. He's just like taking names and putting them on a clipboard. He's really more of like the club manager. Did you say male or female? Just so I can figure out
female, but I'm suddenly realizing we need a few. So now there's a few.
As people come in, more and more unseen servants begin to just serve all the folks and clean up the messes. Bussing tables. You hear dishes clinking in a back room.
There are gnomes.
There are now.
Yeah.
Right. The moment you think it, you hear a bunch of feet flood into the place.
There's
like
the
a
bus
stampede
boys.
of babies.
Yeah, like
The bus boy is a goblin.
Okay. The unseen servant goes in with a pile of dishes, and then out from the kitchen comes a goblin to do the job that unseen servant was doing.
Like
you see all of this, of course.
I get more unsettled every time something newly adapted shows up.
ClickClack, it's happening. Act like it happens on its own, but I'm also doing it on purpose.
No, I understand that.
What? Can you do this?
The tree built me a cave.
Can you say a few more words about that?
Snailroot he's hibernating, but also building me a cave to my specifications, and he wants me to plant a forest for him.
And is that what you want?
Also, I can't be reincarnated.
Resurrected. You can only be reincarnated, but
I can't be resurrected. Also, I can't be resurrected.
Minor technicality.
Oh. If I imagine I am imagining a death word on him and seeing if that takes. Not taking. Okay. I found a limit to what I can create, so that's good, I think.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I tried to see if I could imagine you having additional death words and it didn't work.
Yeah, there's nothing to be done about it. It's fine though. It's
not being resurrected, but like we need to make you not die.
Well, I'm going to die eventually.
A fight breaks out in the kitchen. You hear shouting in Gnomish and Goblin.
I mean, I don't want to right now.
What kind of fight? Like,
I understand the entire argument, by the way.
You do. Oh, it's death. Like it's a fight to the death going on. There, like a lot of racial slurs being thrown back and forth.
There's a race war in your kitchen.
I'm gonna take my hammer and go in there.
I thought you were busy. Excuse me. Busy.
Oh right, I was busy. I forgot I was not with you. I was being on a date. So I was not
probably distracted.
You're busy.
My apologies.
By the way, side note, Thomas, I love that you built your wife a hot chick.
It's true.
Kind of 4, like she's got 4 seasons worth.
Anyway,
speaking of which, like she has you like just locked in on eye contact, like drawing you into conversation. She's telling you a little bit as these other things are going on about like what's to come. She lets you know that like this area is tied to us now. Like it's going to react to us. I mean, it's probably new for you. I went through this in the Vale a while ago, kind of my orientation. I don't want work to get into the way, but before the second round of drinks gets here and I lose the thread, the more you go and look at, the more actually exists.
That's pretty weird.
We're also going to have to deal with kind of the ways this whole place used to be unseelie. And I don't know how deeply you know what that means, but it's a matter of core philosophy. I mean, Fae exists because of passion, and they are passion itself. And sometimes passion is love and nobility and heroism and what we would call seelie things. And sometimes passion is vengeance and miserliness and greed and hatred and what we would call unseelie things. And both of them have, you know, their place in the Feywild. But this one just transitioned. I mean, because war was declared, the whole domain went up for grabs. And now a lot of its inhabitants have the choice to transition or wander and migrate to somewhere more friendly to their disposition. Some of them might want to stay and fight. You're a Knight of the Vale now. Knight Errant of Bloomhaven. But weirdly, you're gonna get the adventures that you want. As a mortal here, you have a special place. You can dream real dreams. And I don't. Eladrin don't work like that. But the Feywild is the place of dreams and nightmares. And what you and I and our friends just did was to chase the nightmares out of this place. It was Gloom Hollow. Now it's Bloomhaven. Are you ready to live your wildest dreams, Dana?
I think so. I wonder how long it'll last.
As long as it needs to.
And internally, he's now conflicted because he's like, wait, aren't we going back in time? Does that mean we're going to unwin this war? What? We're not going to unite. And he takes another drink. Doesn't say anything.
Well, she takes advantage of the silence and begins just telling you stories about her homeland and, you know, growing up here and what it's like living in the Feywild. She tells you of things that she's excited for you to see. And you know, just generally engages you in conversation warmly, but she's leaning in real close, and like there's hand contact.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is like giving you that space that you give a romantic couple. Like any minute he's going to drop down on a knee. I don't want to be in his way or something. You know, that kind of attitude.
I imagine chocolate figurines in front of each of them, brought to them. One is a chicken and one is a cow.
The goblin, like with like half-ass bandages on himself, comes out and like serves the chocolate. There's not all of the blood on the goblin is goblin colored. Serves the chocolate and then like runs back in and runs back into the kitchen, like grabs a knife off of one of the other tables and then dives back into the fray.
Okay. Can you do something about that?
Okay, so no more goblins.
The bar manager leans back and just yells in through the window, "Did you hear that? You're fired!" You in Goblin, you hear a lot of cursing of her lineage as a team of gnomes throws the goblin out the door.
But before that happened, but after she said it, there's a moment where I'm not sure she doesn't mean the race as an entirety.
Well, we'll see what happens.
That is not how I meant that. Just like, okay, so I guess no goblin? Oh.
Like once he gets tossed out, I kind of relax a bit, but there's that moment of, you've been given the power to bend reality, and you just said no and a race.
But it's not it's only bending reality within very specific limits, and figuring out what those limits are is also important.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what the limits are yet.
I'm trying to figure it out. Clearly, it's not no more of a race because he got fired instead. You know?
So we know that now.
Okay. Let's go through and do some testing more methodically. How would you like to begin? Because how I want to begin is probably not something you're comfortable with.
I want to begin with not declaring a race should no longer exist.
Okay, and
Even
we
when
got that. I didn't do that.
I would not have said that at this juncture. Choose words carefully. Choose declared intent carefully.
In this place. I wonder.
For the foreseeable future until we have more data.
Alright. And for testing?
Make a decision about outside, and then we'll go outside and see if it happened.
Okay. Green rose bushes.
And I mean beyond the property, like not lining the building or anything, like something outside of the building's playset.
A clockwork, a gear-looking clockwork entry to your place.
How far from this place is my cave?
You were a little out of earshot of the area, so kind of, 50, 60 feet. In so much as distance has actual real meaning in the Feywild.
Did you say that out loud, Diamond?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was telling the GM what it was that I'm thinking of. Sorry about that.
I thought so, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, it's a like the evil gingerbread house, right? Only made of like clockwork and gears and constant motion.
Okay.
And big enough for a crab. Basically, it's an entrance with an elevator.
To a cave that might not be stable yet.
Yeah, no. But I'm not telling you to use the elevator. I've just imagined a thing. You told me what to imagine, or to do that, so I did that.
Let's go outside.
Meanwhile, by the way, live roses have grown up around the rafters.
Really cool.
Just the same minty, and it fills the air with just like a beautiful, like, it smells like rosehip mint tea.
Did you say roses out loud, Diamond?
I did, and then you said further, and then I thought it.
Okay.
They're also now heavily built in the landscape if you look out the window. One thing you notice that is not something that like now as you're kind of tuning in on it and thinking about it, there's one thing that wasn't in like what you imagined the place to be, and that is like, in front of the stage in sort of a cleared out space, almost in a place of honor on a pedestal, is a large cast iron heart that has clearly been pierced once or twice. Twice, to be specific.
Hey, ClickClack. I think I know what that is.
Oh yeah, it used to be crystal and glowing blue and bending time around you.
Yeah.
Woo. This is the spot where it hit the dirt.
And that's in the bar?
On a pedestal.
In front of the stage. Like, turned as though, like, for someone with maybe an anatomical eye trained in medicine, turned in such a way as though the person with whose heart it was would be facing the stage.
Okay. Does she notice that, or do I?
I don't know, or which of you was trained in medicine?
No, I mean it in general, but I do have a bit of medicine training, yes.
Yeah. It's not such a hard thing to notice.
So that probably means something.
It didn't seem to fit your motif.
I mean, one, it sort of does because we want to have artifacts as things, but also I think that was already here.
And it won't leave.
And it won't what?
Leave. It can't be shunted by whatever's doing this.
And the camera will fade out as you guys start ruminating on that thought line. So you guys are all going to get to do a carousing check for the next little while as we montage our way through a few hours of what's going down. Do you check out outside the bar, or do you spend the whole time there for? Okay.
Yeah. We're testing.
Okay.
The last thing I did was ask her to go outside with me.
All right.
Yeah.
Trell is also down for exploring the party. I mean, when you get outside, by that time, like, everything is in full tilt. And I do want to really emphasize that, like, think of Feywild the Burning Man. I mean, this is a couple of armies worth of Fey. Just, like, having either, like, avoided existential defeat at the hands of the giants or won a victory for you and the forces of the Unseelie. Like, it's a party of in that mindset. Like, there's
they're partying and also working through some stuff.
Really hard working through some stuff.
Sounds very Dwarven. I want to be partying with them.
Okay.
But I am testing with David with ClickClack.
I just want to see this, and then you can go back to your party. But I want to at least do this test.
Yeah.
We go outside.
Okay.
Can I see? Can I see? What would it be near enough for me to spot what she tried to change?
Yes, it's easily within sight, and no, it's not there.
I look around. Do you see what you were picturing?
I don't. Do you want to try test number 2?
Try again. That's test number 2.
I give him a verbal description of the thing that I'm imagining. Right there! No, I guess not. Okay.
It only happens if ClickClack wants it to happen. Like, as you get that description of what she was imagining, if you think that's what should go there, then it begins to form.
I am actively not doing that, in fact.
Okay.
I kind of also went. This is also something that is way too gaudy for him.
All right, then it does not.
I'm not letting myself contaminate the experiment.
Okay. Well, if you are actively not doing that, it doesn't do that. Like, if
anyone can not think about a purple dinosaur, it's ClickClack.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because there are so many other shades of dinosaur.
What is your favorite food or drink, ClickClack?
I don't understand the question.
Well, if you could have anything to eat right now, what would it be?
He's learning tact, so he doesn't respond with dinner in the druid circle back home.
That's not a thing to eat, but you didn't say that.
No.
Right, you see him stop before saying something.
You see him think of it, mean it, but he's learned not to say that stuff.
And then he says, still experimenting.
Oatmeal and some seaweed. Oatmeal for me, seaweed for Lovelace.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant together in the same bowl. I was a little
like a smoothie.
Yeah. I mean, all right, sure.
Yeah.
So, like,
it's I eat at a spa.
So I try to imagine that existing, knowing that it's something that he would like. If nothing happens, I'm going to encourage him to do the same thing.
All right.
And I'm waiting for the GM to give me a yes, that worked. No, that didn't.
No, nothing immediately comes to pass.
And then okay, you decide that you want it. Participate.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay. And then I describe the bowl I'm going to hand you.
Nothing.
He said he wanted it, though. All right, so I have no idea what the
from out of the kitchen. You see an unseen servant comes out with a tray of seaweed and a note on a time that the oatmeal will be ready. It's made fresh. We're sorry, service. It's a special order. It's off the menu. The servant doesn't speak. It just delivers the tray and then floats eerily off.
That just raises more questions.
I feel like consistent experimentation is going to be fun, and that's great to do with stories.
Do you want to go back to your party?
And tell stories.
Trella has also pulled Stan outside, and she sees you two sort of like bewilderingly exchanging attempts, and she sort of looks at you and she says, "You know what they're doing, right?"
Plotting her demise.
No, they're just toying with the new idea they have.
I'm running a full spectrum analysis on the seaweed.
Seems good.
I eat part of it.
Right. I mean, it's been preserved. It's not fresh.
It's like pickled seaweed?
Yeah.
All right. I taste some of it. If it still checks out, then I feed it to Lovelace.
Yep. She thinks it's delightful. We should fill them in, Stan. I don't know if anybody's laid out, but I just laid for you.
Which part? That the world's changing?
Well, yeah, the sort of what and why of it. I think they've discovered that you can do more than get clothes in your closet. It's a nice look on you, by the way. But I don't think they know exactly what the whole thing means, if you know what I mean, right? Like kind of what I told you.
Yeah.
Well, would it be an intrusion on our time together if I invited them to walk around the ground, the celebration with us, and kind of accept the applause of the crowd?
No, that's fine. They're always welcome at my table.
Okay. I didn't know how much time alone with me you wanted. You're an honorable man, Stan. It's probably.
I got a really epic nap. I'm feeling like I
So together, Trella leads you over and approaches the other two, and sort of just like as you're checking out the seaweed, and like then feed it to Lovelace.
Where me and Lovelace are both kind of like legs out, flump on the ground, like me on top of her, but she's doing it too, and I'm just sort of like way too many variables, and I'm swimming.
Trella just sort of chuckles at your confusion as she approaches. Are you two all right?
No.
I'm more all right than he is, but
that is generally the case.
Well, let's all take a walk. I'll see if I can help you catch up, and we can see how things are going.
I look at Stan and then back to her. I do not wish to intrude on your foreplay.
I'm gonna need a drink before we go anywhere. Gonna find a horn, put it in my face, bring it with me. Lovely drinking horns. Lovely.
It's not an intrusion.
Out.
Not at all.
3 of them are delivered. And these go quick. By now, it'll be a minute before the oatmeal comes out.
It served its purpose.
Trilla says, if you walk with me, I'll do my best to answer your questions. Come on, friends. And again, like, this is the first time you two have probably gotten a good look at her in her springtime form. She's just fresh, blushing, rosy, youthful, some like... Yeah, just youthful and exuberant. Still just carved out of wood. I mean, she's built. She's a very, very strongly built woman. But yeah. So and she begins to move you through the party. Where would you like to go first? She asks you. She sort of points to the various directions. There's there's sort of a quiet area way off to one end. There's the big kind of rave dance music area. There's the competition zone. Kind of the way it's divvied up.
Let's try competition. Stan, that's what Stan says.
Good place to start as any. And it's not a long walk. I mean, you're basically walking across the meadow, but as you approach, you can see like lots of large, burly creatures of various shapes and sizes, trolls, hags, some of the larger, meaner, sort of unseelie fey creatures, ogres. And they are competing, and not team to team. They are. It's not Seelie versus Unseelie. It's mixed ball. Usually, like 3 and 4 person teams all scrumming against each other, or there's some solo matches and things. And as you're approaching, and as Trell is sort of introducing the games and rules of the games to you, you see that in one occasion, like, as a troll goes down and just sort of like hits the ground in one of the scrums, 2 centaurs run and each give him a hand and sort of pick him up. And by the time he's up, he's stopped really looking like the big ugly troll, and you see that where it was, that thick, gross hide now has become kind of bark-like, and he's extended and gained a much stiffer posture, and you see little sprigs of things just sort of popping out of him. And just like starts to smile. You see moss forming around its lips, and the centaurs just kind of clap it on the back and go back to the game. When you spot that, you see a few other creatures kind of in sort of an in-between phase of things. And Trella points it out. He says, some of, hopefully most of the inhabitants of this place are going to choose to become Seelie. Well, that means, a change. They'll get a chance to sort of encourage certain behaviors and certain feelings, sportsmanship, camaraderie, different ways to inspire passions that don't suck, says Trella. The good stuff. And her hand wanders out of sight of the rest of them, Stan. Did we lose you, Stan?
Yeah. Sorry, my audio cut out there for a second. What was that?
That's cool. As she says that, her hand wanders a little, like, out of sight of the rest of the group, and she subtly reminds you that you're still on a date. What do you guys do presented with this?
Lean into it.
I don't understand entirely how it relates to the thing I'm experiencing?
Well, it's because there was a war. You see, there's a lot of skirmishes back and forth and assassinations and duels and conflicts between Seelie and Unseelie Fae and the courts that rule them. But when there's an actual war declared over a domain, well, a lot of things kick into motion. Allies and things show up, but also whoever claims the stronghold at the end of the day claims the heart and soul of the domain. And right now, that means that there's a lot of kind of transitional, half-defined places here in Bloomhaven. I mean, the heart of the battle, and the places that we claimed and rested through and have already sort of dreamed up are already here. So gaining definition of things. I mean, we're not gods in the heavens. We can't just change everything willy-nilly, but there's some hot spots for us. I mean, I think you guys have all kind of noticed. She points to the rose and the other little domains, like those places where maybe you guys did things that were inspired. You know, that's all about you. Well, those places exist because of the things you did and the Feywild's acknowledgement of that. The more you do, the more you walk into place, the broader the realm gets, the more powerful Beatrix gets, the more honor and prestige and all of those other things you guys can claim. And I mean, you're never going to be Archfey, but this place is kind of your playground. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but you are very much the part of the formation of Bloomhaven. And the decisions you make and the adventures you have and your travels through it and in it, around it, and outside its borders even, will affect it. I mean, it exists because of Beatrix Merryword, and through her, the Queen of Summer and Light. But you and I are its stewards. Does that make any more sense?
Actually, yes. Actually, yes.
In and of itself, yes.
I've lived here my whole life, so this all makes sense to me. But I understand if you're confused.
What happens if we leave this place?
I mean, if you fight battles and do heroic deeds and spread the name of the Vale and act as knights outside the Vale and outside Bloomhaven, well, the word will travel. I mean, your prestige will grow, and things may even reflect that here, depending on what happens. Maybe, I mean, I really can't speculate, you know? That's part of the fun. I mean, it's going to happen for me, too. I've kind of gotten used to it in a limited way back in the Vale, but here I am the night resident. See, I don't get to leave, by the way. I'm here. I am very much the night is the land and the land is the night. Like I make decisions from the ivory tower up there, and if there's problems that I can't attend to, like I'm gonna have to talk to you guys about it. You were the Knights Errant. You get to run around and do the fun stuff. I get a promotion and I'm stuck at a desk. Thanks.
Can she send us back in time?
What?
Our time. Our time,
No.
our plane.
I sure can. You're talking
you.
like
I'm
top-end
asking
art
Beatrix
fair.
Scan.
Oh,
Beatrix
no.
Scan,
No,
Okay.
no, you're talking like top-end archfey stuff. These are lords of multiple lands. These are creatures of. I mean, I'm from here, and they're strange and wonderful to me.
You're just confirming that pit hadn't changed.
Yeah, I mean the exception would be if somehow Beatrix's rank were to rise to that level. I mean, there's some upward mobility, especially within Fey. They have the capacity to become more than they are by inspiring more deeds and passions and stories and all of the things that you guys will be doing in her name. So maybe we Merry Band of Knights could so elevate her status. She could. Why? You left a very important moment at home, didn't you?
I expect that Stan and I both just turned to look at ClickClack at this point.
Dan says, we may be very different people by the time we get back.
Well, I'm not in a hurry to talk about you leaving. And she then drags Stan over to one of the various feats of strength. Big stone carrying. It's the strongman, like world's strongest man competition type stuff. It's like,
oh yeah,
here, take this giant, perfectly round boulder and see how far you can run with it.
I need a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Well, 30-minute. I mean, 3. 3 was what I meant to say, not 30.
All right.
3 days.
5. Wait, no, sir.
I can communicate.
Well, you take a moment. Stan, do you compete?
Yeah.
Okay, Trella will too. And she's going to throw her cloud around to make sure you two compete against each other. Right, and everybody's down. Like the two heroes of the battle, or two of the heroes of the battle, going head to head on the giant stone races.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're being cheered on by ogres and centaurs and treants and mobs of pixies. Yeah, half of them chanting your name, a little more than half chanting Trella's name, and it adds up to about 108%. But you know what? It's the Feywild. So give me a strength check. You can athletics proficiency this one.
It's good, because that was a bad roll. 16.
She crushed you. And she didn't take it easy on you either. Once she saw she had the edge, she just like shouldered up and plowed forward. She's carrying it like Atlas style, leaning down, and she's just going. And the crowd just like starts chanting with her footsteps, stomping along as she's stomping, and you can feel the ground start to shake, and it knocks out your rhythm even worse.
Okay.
So Struana and ClickClack, you guys both see Trella just wreck Stan at the boulder races, to the delight of everyone assembled, and you see multiple people in the crowd like just like go significantly further into their Seelie form as people are cheering on a good-natured competition. Like specifically when she finally gets to the end of her capacity. There's no finish line. It's just you go until you drop. And she finally does. And then takes a moment and just like goes up and helps you up and raises both hands and then, arm in arm takes you back, sweating and glowing with competition, back to your friends.
I turn and look at ClickClack and go, we both know we can't stay here. Both know we have to go back. And we have to go kind of deeper in to even get to the point where we can go back. But for right now, I'm going to enjoy the party.
He's just sort of... He's still sitting on Lovelace, but he's not in the saddle anymore. He's sitting on another part of her, as a sort of absent-mindedly petting her. And clearly... He's in himself right now, and since we got here and he found out he couldn't get back right away, you've seen him angry, you've seen him frustrated, you've seen him eager. This is the first time you've seen him sad. And he's not trying to make you feel guilty. He's not built for that kind of thing. He's just having a moment right now.
I recommend that you give it a try also. You fought a thing, you won. Celebrate for a minute before we have to go through the next fight.
I don't blame you for what happened. I'm not mad at you for what happened. That's a waste of energy. But you have to understand, I'm older than you. In my entire long life, I have made 2 pledges. I pledged mutual loyalty to Lovelace, and that I would do whatever I could to protect her, and she to me. And I swore to protect the Grove, and be in service to it and to the Druids. I only met you and Stan because the Druids sent me to you. My life was pledged in protection of what is now a cinder pile. And there's no guarantee that we can go back and fix that. And it's really hard to not just start mourning right now.
There is no guarantee we can go back and fix that. But there is the possibility here, which is why we're going to try it.
I've been putting off this feeling since any of this happened. And I need to deal with it. Please enjoy the party, but please don't expect me to participate. I'm not mad. I'm busy.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's about the time Trella and Stan rejoin you. Comes up behind you. Nobody likes a gloomy gnome. She tosses you a piece of fruit.
I feed it to the crab.
who eats it merrily. And then she says, seriously though, if you need a little time alone, it's okay.
And Lovelace has been comforting me the whole time. I'm getting stroked by a giant claw that's bigger than my head.
Which we no longer find strange.
Mm-hmm. She's the emotional one of the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the case.
Either of you two think you want to hop in a race or something? Says Trella, because we can. I mean, there's plenty of party to see if this isn't your speed.
Oh, I know how to party. Like, just gonna like. I appreciate you taking the time to deal with the things you need to deal with. You have dedications, and Stan have dedications, and I don't have the same thing. So, in the same way. So you all are basically my dedication. The long version of let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Drinking!
Trella in the silence in between like jumps in. It's like, I think I know a place that will help. I think there might be something that's exactly what you need. Drink on, Struana, we've got a little walk to do. And she takes Stan by the arm and leads you all towards kind of around the main body of the loudest part of the loudest and crowdedest part of the party. And you see, like, as you approach it, the noise dies in a way that distance wouldn't account for. And you see there are clusters of creatures. You can hear some like sobbing and wailing coming from within this copse of trees, just festooned with flowers in the ground, just like all shapes and sizes and types. Mostly what would be found in the to a naturist's eye, what would be found in the Vale or in what was Bloomhaven. And, you know, the native plant types there, all just intermingled, no rhyme or reason or pattern to them. And you can hear the terrain is sort of molded. You can hear that there's some sort of waterfall inside it. And Trella leads you up a path, and you get to an area where there's a river kind of from out of nowhere. Just sort of welling up out of a spring in the ground, and as you get closer, you can see that it's not so much a spring as just sort of a collection point for what you now realize are the tears of the Fae. You see hags next to nymphs and sprites and clusters of shimmerlings just landing on branches and weeping. Their tears are being pooled into this well that then sort of overflows and spills and cascades down in a sort of lovely babbling way down through to collect at the bottom.
Is this part of the party?
It's part of the process. So part of winning
where they mourn what they've lost.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Every blade of grass, every flower, every sapling, everything with a root or insect that crawls upon it is a new representation of something that fell in the war. This is where the Seelie will come to purge their grief and vengeance and have some catharsis, let it grow into something good and true and noble. You can, and as you say it, she sort of like gestures around, and you see it happening. Like you see like the tears themselves like coming out of them start to just like stain cheeks, and then the like colorings will change, or sometimes the whole creature type will change. I mean, the hags specifically seem to be beautifying up, like skins tightening. There's sort of lifting in the saggy bits and sagging in the lifty bits, and just generally becoming, not hags. They're the most noticeable, but like trolls into treants isn't an uncommon transition that you're seeing. Pixies and shimmerlings seem to have a similar common switch, but it's by no means 100%. Sometimes a thing will dream itself into a rock.
You do you, man.
Right?
I've had those days. I can understand this.
You just want to be stoned.
Right. I'm not going to force you yes or no on what you want to do. I already visited this place. I've grieved what I had to grieve. But if you have anything, this is a great place to leave it. It's sort of made exactly for that. The closer you get to the water, the less you'll be able to control it. Just word of warning.
I'm gonna stay here for a bit.
Right, and ClickClack, you already have the sads. You're kind of you're susceptible to this already. Just being in the grove, you're bubbling up memories, and kind of all of you are mostly specifically tied to like stuff here, so it's not a lot. But you can't help but wonder what happened to that hag whose cauldron you have now. But every time one of those pops up, you don't always see it, but somewhere in the grove there's a new blade of grass or wildflower or sprig of a sapling or something becomes more lush the more memories are given to it. Joe says, at the bottom of the falls there, you'll find a pool that, well, it may help even you out. It's got a calming effect. Helps you get perspective. It's kind of the sum total of the washing away of the pain of Fey creatures. So, you know where you are. That's kind of how it'll be. But Stan, I'd rather you didn't. Because I don't want your emotions calmed. And then she just leads you away from the other two to a nice, quiet area, and begins to talk about things that matter less. What do you third wheels do?
I'm gonna touch them both gently, and I think you've got it. But if you want to talk, let me know. And gesture at the earring.
I'm I hear you, but I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the grove. But as you do that, you get a light squeeze from a crab claw, like a squeeze.
Yeah. And then I go party.
Once they're out of sight, he starts.
Oh yeah, Lovelace was just taking you there.
He's not like there's no but it's a river.
Yeah.
He's silent, stone face, and not moving, but it's just gushing out of him.
Yep.
We're having
and for that matter.
And Lovelace, without being commanded, just takes you over to where your tears will be caught, and you see that you feel grief in her as well.
Oh, totally.
It's become clear to you that this area might be native to her. This might be where she was a little crablet. Because it's fey critters that you pull over for your companionship. And so there's a really good chance that some of her kin got stepped on.
Well, she also had a loyalty to my old grove as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, that too.
We were both soldiers in service of a cause.
Right. And normally, if you wanted to resist it, there would be some saves, but I imagine you just let the power of the grove take hold, and indeed, it just it sucks the pain right out of your soul. You can feel in your chest like a gaping hole where the hurt was, and the it finally starting to mend. Like it's almost a physical sensation, and you are in great company. I mean, are whole swaths of fey creatures, animals. There are trees weeping at the grove. It's you're in the right place for it. And you feel better once it's done. Stan, do you have anything to cathart? Is there any expurgation of yours? Who catharted? Oh, God, I catharted in here. And Struana already mentioned that she's off to the party. So it's not long before Trella she starts to get extra flirty and close and intimate, and as soon as it starts to go anywhere, she just fades away and pulls you by the hand off toward the loud music. It's time to hit the dance floor. Struana's already there, and she's definitely got a clot of people around her. Struana, this is the loudest, wildest party you have ever been in. There are things being passed around here that are just cloying and intoxicating just to look at and think about, let alone imbibe. The lighting in the whole area is shimmering, pulsing, and strobing. There are shimmerlings clotted up above the place, sort of like holding their ground, surrounded by also sparkling and glowing pixies and sprites and things that are just one by one as a shimmerling will sort of pick out of the cloud. I don't know if you've ever seen a swarm of bats hunt a swarm of insects, but it's very much like one will dip in and grab one, and a little fight will ensue. They're like a little tiny scrap that is like the pixie or Seelie Fey will essentially just be hugging it, holding it, and nuzzling its neck and just sort of wrapping it around and spreading love on it. The shimmerling will generally be gnawing and clawing and attempting violence, and then just sort of loses heart in it and goes with it. And this often will happen to pulses of the beats that are going on everywhere. Drummers across the field are somehow catching each other's rhythms in unison and bouncing them back and forth, and the entire meadow is hypnotic and trance-inducing, and it puts the wild in Feywild. There are Seelie Fey here dancing themselves, or unseelie Fey here dancing themselves Seelie. There are puddles of love fests between weird stuff, just weird stuff. I don't know how close you look, but it's weird.
I'm gathering stories, and okay, I'm at a rave.
Yeah, every scene could be a porn novel. Just every one of those, how did this happen could be its own whole story. and not even all of them particularly erotic. Just like scenes and tableaus of creatures dancing in groups and with each other. It's like somebody just tore the pages out of all the storybooks and shook them up.
It's like cracks knuckles. Time to find my niche. And go.
What fetish am I not aware of yet?
And I imagine that you probably can't help but dance and maybe play and sing along.
Yeah.
I thought that might happen. So by the time Stan, Trilla, and ClickClack eventually, like, you're not hard to find, and you guys will eventually find each other in the crowd, because I'm going to have you make a performance check, and I know what your bonus is. So...
30.
So the meadow is now in rhythm with you. Your dance steps are guiding the beat and not the other way around. It's
everything suddenly takes on a good dwarven tinge.
Yeah, you call the key, like the key that you pipe in becomes the key that is called and answered back and forth across the way. Yeah. And you're real easy to find. Like the circle around you is deep and dense. And ClickClack, you will find Stan and Trella easily amongst that crowd. Stan, what are you doing? You a dancing man?
Yeah, I mean,
taciturn drinking wallflower. What's your style, Stan?
No, I think he's more the enthusiastic drunk. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Do you drink anything that's probably not just alcohol? Like there's a lot of things being passed around.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not all of them. Probably like limit one that I'm not familiar with.
It has the most common thing has a very familiar flavor. And after you take it, you and Trella both are melded back in that Myconid realm that you existed in for a minute in the sewers right before you nearly died and got shunted to the Feywild.
Oh yeah.
Right? You had almost forgotten, and now you remember it with more clarity than you did since you left. And there are clearly mushroom souls that recognize you. Whether they were there, like you don't know if they were the individual ones, but you understand when you see them that they have shared the knowledge with others about you and have grokked you as well. And they are crowded. This whole place is just very thinly out of touch with that realm. It's just barely not directly overlapping. And you, especially with the number of other creatures and things here that are having the same experience, it's very strange.
Yeah, I bet.
Right? But the music's all very familiar, because you've heard a lot of Struana's practice sessions at late night at camp.
Right.
ClickClack, in your if you partake of the water, do you partake of the water at the bottom of the pool? Like most of the creatures do that as sort of part of some sort of ritual.
I don't think it's my decision. I think I'm carried there.
Okay. Yeah. Lovelace will take the wheel and drink herself, and you are affected for 8 hours by the calm emotions spell.
Because I'm usually so passionate.
Well, it wasn't built for you.
Yeah. So I'm back to how I usually am.
Kind of, yeah.
When nothing's on fire.
Yeah, you're much more able to access that dispassionate analytical side of your brain now. At least for the next 8 hours. I don't know how you're gonna feel after that. But meanwhile, Lovelace is like starting to sniff up some of that myconid stuff. She's kind of like looking that direction. Like if someone at one point somebody drops one at the edge of the rave and she starts like scooting over that way, just really sneaky and subtle like.
She has a pretty good stealth score.
And she also, yeah, right, for a giant crab. And she also, routinely is ground score queen. She's like, if
she has a really high stealth score.
Yeah.
Right. So before you know it, you can feel that she groks the myconid realm as well.
I have suddenly become drunk doctor.
And it's what? I don't know how much detail of the party you guys want to get into, or how much of the experience you want to roleplay. It's also getting toward the end of our session, so if there's anything as we close out that you guys are going to be doing at the party, we'll have you at the beginning of next session make a bunch of carousing rolls to see some of the other effects that may have come up.
Even in my best mood, I am in fact that quiet wallflower at the party. Like, he's, like, ClickClack is social, but he's not in the mosh pit. He's, like, interacting and being friendly and meeting people and smiling, but it's, he doesn't bring the party with him.
Almost, like, whispered in your ear amongst these generally very highly charismatic wallflowers that also exist here. That, like, even the shy ones are very pretty. Like, every so often you get a little tip and blurb out of the book in the voice of what was it, Pennifeather Quartzbaum, like just like almost like a voiceover, like from a technical film, like in this situation when like presented with
so do you want to talk to people?
Right, yeah, there's like a scholarly voiceover, like just like very quietly in your ear, like, and it's coming from the book.
Okay.
Anything else you guys want to do as the camera pulls out from? ClickClack, do you partake in strange myconid brews?
No.
No, any of right? Don't eat fairy food. Don't eat fairy food.
I'm chill. I'm not stupid.
And Struana, I think you're probably just drunk on the music, but I don't know how much drunker you get on anything else.
I mean, I'm
wildly hammered.
I mean, it'll take longer than it will for Stan. But I'm going to be consistently imbibing.
You are never at a loss for drinks. Like this party is very much in your honor and could not have happened without without what you do. And like if at any point you start to like overdo it, like there's somebody right there with the negate toxins and then another drink to get you started back up again. These people know how to party, and they've done it before with mortals.
I'm holding an opaque cup to not be bothered.
And Trella, while happy to socialize with you, is very, very, very into alone time in the crowd with Stan. And
I'm making new friends. I'm making new friends. That's what I'm doing.
And at the beginning of next session, we'll see the carousing rolls to see how many and what kind. As we pan the camera back, off of Feywild frickin' Burning Man, the victory party for the battle at Gloomhaven, or Gloom Hollow, now Bloomhaven Stronghold. I think that's where we'll cut for the evening. Thanks, guys. I always like the party episodes with you guys. We've done this once or twice over the seasons. It's like, oh, and now you guys are at a party.
I don't have any soap.
Right, boots and pants. All right, well, from all of us at GameBreakers, I am Thomas. These are, say your name as it once.
David.
Simon.
And everybody else who helps make this happen, including you. If you like what you see, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you want to see it get better, hit up our Patreon. So do we. My name's Thomas. Have a good game.